Nala. And so I'll just run through the first part of this workshop, and then I'll pass it to Tien, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty stuff. But first, a little overview. This, like what was just mentioned, this workshop is supposed to help prepare you for the GCS Research Symposium. So help you start writing your abstract and get you in the mindset for that. So first, I'd like to introduce our panelists today. We have Ximena, Leon, and Evan Vesper. And basically what this workshop is, we'll go through the outline of an abstract and then some tips and then some examples, and then we'll have panelists talk and hopefully have some audience members ask questions, and we can go through that. So to start off, kind of the basic outline of an abstract. First, obviously you should know who you're talking to. For a lot of us, we have niche fields, so that might be more specific, so like you can use more jargon, but if you're doing like a literature review or something like that, it should be more broad, so your audience members should be pretty much like anyone. That's the point of that. But if it's more, like you're doing chemical tests and stuff like that, I think you should know your field and be able to have a good understanding of what kind of words you should use. But also, so that's just like generally, but you have to introduce your topic, and then you have to explain the gap in knowledge for your topic, and then how you're going to try and fill that gap in knowledge. So a hypothesis is pretty straightforward, so we don't really have an explanation here, but you should be able to explain what you're doing in a sentence or two. And I like to have it sound pretty like clear cut, like statistical. I think it's helpful to have it in like very straightforward format, just so that you can easily see how you're going to test it. So you say what it is, and then you say what your approach will be, and then obviously your results, and then how you interpret these results. So we're all aware that everyone who received the Goldwater has probably written a few abstracts before, but it's still good to go through it and get your mind back in the whole process. And yeah, so now Tien, if you can take over, that would be great. I realized I was sharing, so now you have to share, sorry. Sorry, give us 1 second. Okay. Tien, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. To continue with it, we should like present, like give an example for what we said before, that this is an example of an abstract. And yeah, I think for the first I think we could, Elisa can help with introduce about the design. Like Elisa, can you
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can do that. Hello, everyone. So for this, this is just a sample abstract. I guess in this case, this is an abstract in a publication. However, you would still format an abstract for a conference in a pretty similar manner. So as was said in a few slides ago, when writing an abstract, you want to have a broad introduction of your topic, and then discuss and then narrow down to the specific problem you want to address, your approach, how you're going to do that, and then you summarize your results, and then perhaps at the end you can include a brief conclusion and a future outlook, or what other experiments could be done in the future. Yeah, so this is just an example that I figured is broad enough for, I guess, everyone to be able to read it. So in red, I just highlighted basically the different components of this abstract to break it down into those different things that should be incorporated into your abstract.
So other is why we also have for us that the abstract is just a summary of your research. So it's better to keep it brief, like, oh, you don't have to like include every like detail of your research, but like just need to like keep it brief and structure it so that like the reader can follow your thought process from beginning to the end. And it's also like, oh, take a consideration that, oh, not everyone like in the field, so like keep the word like it's more simple, and so it's better to keep it more simple, so the audience when they read that, it can like easy to understand about your research project. And it's also because like and in the abstract people do not include a citation, and sometimes it's not a requirement for the Goldwater symposium, but in some journal and conference, they allow to you to submit a graphical abstract together with your written abstract. So I think it's really, if you can add it, I think it's really good to have it's easier for people to follow and to understand the project in general. So yeah, so here we also include graphical abstract should indicate that like if like anyone like not saw it before. And yeah, and for also add for some scholar and alumni advice. So because like the we can read more the abstract like example specific in your field. Yeah, so to see that, oh, how people explain about your their project, and also like it also like maybe in your research lab website you usually have public article that we can like you can read format, and or the abstract in the journal, and also like some conference also public abstract also. So if you want to submit the abstract for specific conference, you can read the abstract submission like from previous year to have the better idea like how they like how other attend the how they structure the abstract. And yeah, and I think this all like the information that we have. So yeah, and we want to give to our panelists to add about it. They have any advice. So Ximena, could you do you have any advice for us?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think you covered a lot. I think for the graphical abstract, some advice I would give is there's this tool online that's called BioRender, and I can put the link in the chat as well. But it allows you to make those graphical abstracts pretty easily. So it provides you with like different templates and like different little figures that you can put together. And it is free, but you can save 3 of those figures for free. So if you decide to do that for this conference in particular, or anything else that you do in the future, I definitely recommend using that. And then, yeah, I think just asking for advice on abstracts in general, just like looking in your field in different journals, in the conferences, like you said, and asking your, whoever you're working with, whoever your mentor or PI is for advice, they'll probably know that best. So, and then we're always here to help too, if you ever need to reach out.
Yeah, thank you. And even could you have any advice for us?
I think you covered it pretty well. I guess what I always have to remind myself is you want to keep it very brief and high level. Like you don't need to go into all the details. It's just meant to be something you can skim in a couple minutes and know whether you want to read the whole thing for the most part. So make it easily digestible and very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for the for this webinar, we thinking that like it's maybe like it will be easier for like everyone if they want to need like some more help, that we will allow the student to submit the rep if they want to have more advice or feedback from a scholar or alumni from a similar field. So yeah, so we will have we will have the link right here to so you can submit the rep. So the deadline for the rep for the feedback is will be to like 5th and after that we will send your rep to a scholar or alumni from in a similar field, and then we will send the feedback for the rep back to you on to like 10, and then after that like you will have like 5 days to work with the feedback to revise the rep, and then the final abstract deadline will be the July 15. And for our and for our abstract, the abstract format for the Goldwater Symposium, it will be 250 words, and this abstract is supposed to be for the traditional poster or the 10-minute research talk, including Q&A, and yeah, and again, yeah, the July 15 in the final submission deadline. Yeah, so yeah, if you have any question, yeah, feel free to ask, and later if anyone need have this rep right now and want to like have the specific for feedback format, we also like can do a repair room to get to and the panelists can help with reading and give their feedback.
Tian, would you mind putting the links in the chat?
Oh yeah, I will send the
That'd
link
be
in the
great.
chat.
And
Yeah.
maybe you could also put them in the Slack after this is over.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
that'd be
will,
great.
yeah.
And in case, I don't know if there's any mentees here from the ambassadors program, but there is a different link for scholars and for mentees to submit their final abstracts for the conference, but it's the same link for getting feedback right now.
Oh.
So those links are also in the chat.
Yeah, I think the link is already in the chat already, but I will put the link in the Slack later. Mm. Oh, I have. Oh, yeah. I think. Yeah, I will put a link now.